Hello, welcome back to our channel everyone. We are here for top 9 because we didn't think 10 was necessary.
No.
Things we wish we knew before we left on our trip around Australia.
Yeah, before we started full-time travel.
This is what we wish we knew when we were back in Tasmania as two little people 6 months ago without a clue of what to expect on the road.
At that time, we had watched so many videos just like this, trying to figure out what we're supposed to do.
And we still didn't know these 9 things. So,
No.
Here you go, let's get straight into it. Number 9. You're never as remote as you think you are.
No, you're not. Definitely not. We've recently just completed 450 kilometers off-road. I don't think there was ever a point where we weren't at least 100 k's from a shop. I mean, there was a service station like halfway on the track and a supermarket. Even when we were in like really central South Australia, we weren't even that remote, were we?
Like when we did the Nullarbor, we had reception pretty much the whole time.
And that's what we thought would be like the remote, drive. But it wasn't, was it? Oh, in a data track, no more than 150 k's between places. So, even if you're in the centre, you're still 75 k's from somewhere.
And on that, when you're leaving a capital city, don't worry about it, okay? Because we feel like every time we go to a capital city, we're like, what do we need to buy? We need to make sure we've got 2 of everything. You don't need as much stuff whenever you leave a capital city as you think you do.
No, there's pretty much, on the road, you need like a few stores. You need a Woolworths, pretty much. We don't.
You need a supermarket.
You need a supermarket, like a BCF and an Anaconda, so you can get anything for any of your hobbies or anything, and also like a super cheap auto for spare parts and things, and that's it. And they're everywhere. And a McDonald's.
All right, number 8, and this one we learnt the hard way. Don't skimp out on camp chairs or mattresses, because you will end up sitting on the ground for 3 months or sitting on poles underneath your bum.
Yeah.
So what we did was we came on this trip with 2 camp chairs, which were literally the worst things I've ever sat on in my life. Your camp chairs are your couches. They are your lounge chairs, they are your recliners, they are your everything you could ever imagine, because there's nowhere else to sit. Same with your bed.
Exactly.
So you need to make sure these items are like
The best. They're gonna make your trip. They're gonna make your trip.
They won't make your trip.
They will. You can't just
They won't make your trip.
If you're going around.
But they will make it a little bit more comfortable.
They'll make it more comfortable, more enjoyable. Definitely.
So don't skimp out. Alrighty. Number 7 is water. He didn't even know I was going to say that. But we think that water is more important than fuel.
Yes.
If we could rethink our setup, we would have added an extra 50 litres of water in the back of the car.
Yeah, definitely. It's, you know what? We can carry more fuel than we can carry water.
Which is great, but
it's
great, but you can't be somewhere without water. So you could drive as far as you want to drive. If you run out of water, you're going to need to leave.
Yeah, definitely. What I wish that we'd done, and this is a good tip for people with caravans, is I wish I had a water tank in the car, because then when we could leave the van somewhere and go fill the tank up in the car and then take it and fill the van up. See, the problem is we've only got a 10-litre tank in the car, so that's the only water that we can carry. So if the van runs out, we literally have to tow the caravan to the water supply.
And that could be like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
So if I were you, thinking about your life of Australia, I would think about carrying a lot of water, or having the capacity to carry a lot of water in your car.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't have to have your tanks full all the time if you're worried about weight and things like that. But you can if you want.
Yeah, you want to have the option.
Yeah.
Number 6, weather. Weather has been amazing for the last couple of months. but was so bad at the start of our trip.
Yeah,
It was we were like living in Tasmania. And we were leaving Tasmania for the weather. And then we got to South Australia and the weather was just as bad.
Oh, it was horrendous.
And when we talk about bad, I mean just like it was an unseasonably wet, windy end of the year.
Spring.
And we tried to make a good thing out of a bad situation. But in hindsight, we should have just moved on.
No, we shouldn't have done that, and we should have just gone somewhere where the weather was nicer and actually given South Australia a bit of chance in good weather, because it really made us feel like it wasn't a good place.
And I'm sure it's amazing, but we need to go back there and we need to do it again when the weather is primo.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know.
Yeah, pretty much what we're saying is if the weather's bad,
Move on.
Yeah, go somewhere else. Don't tough it out.
Yeah, it's not worth your time. Find somewhere warm, or if you like the warm weather.
And there is such thing as too hot as well.
Groundbreaking.
It is, yeah, apparently. We haven't found it yet, though.
We have not found it yet.
I have, Lily hasn't.
I haven't. I'm a lizard.
I'm holding a cold water now to cool me down. It's 30 degrees.
I reckon it's hotter right now.
Yeah, it is. It's like 36, 37.
Because we're inland a little bit, so you haven't got that like
Coastal breeze.
Okay, number 5, fridge and battery setup.
Definitely.
So you guys know just as well as we know, we did not think this through.
No. Well, and I think, and you know, we met another couple that have done very similar to us. When you're in the southern states of Australia,
Tasmania, Victoria, South Australia.
yeah, your batteries aren't that important because, well, your main thing that you've got when you're travelling is your fridge. That uses almost all your power and it's always got to be on, and it's your lifesaver. Like if it goes out,
It's your food.
yeah, it's your food sort of thing. Like if your lights don't turn on, that doesn't matter. But if your fridge goes warm, then you're stuffed. So we didn't think this through, and we thought that we'd have enough power. Because it was perfect in Tasmania. Like it was amazing how much power we had when we were in Tasmania. But as soon as it started getting warm, it didn't work.
It didn't work. That
No.
hot box at the front of our caravan just turned into like a 60-degree sauna for our poor little fridge. And our batteries clearly didn't cope. Thank God to iTech World now that we've got some amazing batteries.
Yeah, thank God.
But our fridge is pretty much constantly running.
Yes, pretty much, yeah. We had to put an insulated cover on it as well. And insulate our fridge box. Yeah, just all these problems were not known at all in Tasmania.
You wouldn't even think about it.
No.
Yeah. So
No, not
if
at
I
all.
were you at home, look at what your fridge is doing. Is it going to be able to stay cool enough?
In 40 plus degree heat.
100%. And also, is your battery going to be able to sustain running a fridge pretty much 24/7?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if it can't, you need to upgrade.
Yeah, definitely do it before, because otherwise you'll end up halfway around Australia and you're having to pay high prices for batteries
In a rural or remote area
just
because your battery's died.
Yeah, just a mistake that you didn't have that in on your budget, and as we know, batteries are expensive.
So I would definitely be making sure you're checking out your battery in a fridge setup.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we learnt the hard way. We're getting to the hot end.
Pointy end.
We're the pointy end. We're making our way to the hot stuff. Number 4 is get yourself a hobby.
Yes.
You need to make sure that you are entertained on the road. And luckily for us, we've got you guys. We love you guys.
We do.
Thank you so much for watching. We have got YouTube. We are editing pretty much whenever we've got a minute where we've got downtime. We are putting photos up on Instagram. We are replying to comments, doing all of that stuff. But if you don't have something like we've got, like social media and YouTube,
You need
find
to
yourself
a hobby.
something. Yep.
Otherwise, you'll go crazy. Like, you can't have sightseeing as your hobby. You need something else.
Yeah, because you can't sightsee every minute of every day because you'll go crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's taking up a sport, maybe it's fishing, maybe it's...
Try and find something that's all weather as well, hey?
Yeah, 100%. Now you may be thinking we might look a little bit different.
Yeah, we might have just moved.
And you would be right, because some people drove in and we were like... pack up. We were like, don't let them see that we're vlogging.
We're
and
too
then so we
embarrassed.
pretended and we did the walk.
Yeah, we're just at like a walk car park.
Anyway, we're up to number 3, which is make your setup as easy as possible.
Yes, this is a big one.
So we're getting to the pointy end, which I know we said before, but it's getting even pointier. Like we're at this knuckle before we were at that knuckle.
Yeah, almost at the fingernail.
So make sure your setup is as easy as possible, because if you've got things that aren't easy, you're never going to use them. And you'll also spend half of your life packing up your setup or setting up your setup. And you don't want to be doing that. Our setup literally it can take us 40 seconds.
Yeah,
because all we need to do is put the bed out.
And the same as with our cooking, it's just always set up.
It's always set up. But if we were to set up for maybe 3 or 4 days, it'd probably take us 5 minutes.
Realistically, where it came from is I just made our boat setup not as easy as it could have been. And because of that, we just don't use it as much. Like, if it was easier, then
we'd be in it every day.
Yeah, we would. We'd use it so much more. But just because it's a bit harder to get off and like it's a bit annoying, then we just don't use it. And it's the same as, like, you know, we've got an awning on our car here and it has legs. But if it was the one that didn't have legs,
you'd use it like 10 times more.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that not the laziest thing you've ever...
I know, but you think, oh, like, you know, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the reason it has legs, that means it needs to be pegged down, because any breath of wind just blows it over. So that means it's not just putting it out and putting the legs down, it's also pegging it down. Whereas if we had an awning...
So it's turned essentially a job that could be a 30-second job into a 5-minute job.
Yeah, exactly. And 5 minutes reverse as well.
Exactly.
So we just don't use it.
Yeah. So you've turned a 1-minute job into a 10-minute job.
Yeah,
when it comes to packing and setting up.
Yeah, and we just could have spent a few $100s more and got a better awning, but we didn't really think about it at the time. We're like, oh, this one's still easy.
Yeah, and it still works, and we already had it and it was functional.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But in hindsight, we would have spent that little bit of extra money and got a freestanding awning.
Yeah, we'd use it so much more.
Yeah, we would.
I think we've literally used that 4 times.
I reckon. We only ever use
months.
it when we haven't got the boat. The caravan.
Because the caravan's got an awning on it and we just use that. But to be honest, if we didn't, we'd probably use a freestanding awning on a 270 more than our caravan awning.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, if we had it on our car, we just wouldn't use the
100%.
caravan awning. We'd park the car next to it and use that.
Number 2, money and expenses. This is where it gets a little bit hairy, because we started this trip thinking that we were going to be at a budget for about $800 a week. That is just not a realistic thing that happens in Australia in 2023. The prices of everything are absolutely through the roof. Fuel is hardly ever under $2 unless you're in Perth. Caravan sites, camping sites are expensive. You pretty much can't free camp anymore.
No, $50 a night.
At a caravan park?
At a caravan park, and then also camping sites at like $20 a night for a spot anywhere.
Yep.
And there's no free camps, like, unless you want to stay on the side of the road.
So you do need to be realistic when it comes to how much you want to spend, because we, to be fair, are spending a little bit more because we are doing things that we have always dreamed of doing. You know, we're not skimping out on different experiences or different extra drives that we want to do because we're like, oh, it's too much fuel, or because, oh, that experience is too much money.
And we're also not just eating 2-minute noodles.
100%. Like, we still want to eat healthy, good vegetables, things like that. We want to be snacking all the time. Like, we want to be making sure that we are still fueling our bodies with lots of really good food. Essentially, if you don't care about your body and you want to eat 2-minute noodles, you could probably save yourselves...
And you don't want to do anything, you want to stay on the side of the road and
you
not
could
drive
save yourselves
far.
$200 a week.
Oh,
more.
Yeah, you could, I mean...
You could do it for like $300 a week.
Yeah.
And that would just be your fuel and some food.
Yeah, if you didn't drive far. And we know people that are doing that.
Yeah, we do. But I think that to be fair, I think that they miss out.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, we are literally on the other side of the country from home. I'm probably not going to be here again. Well,
not for a very, very long time.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to do something. If there's an experience, I want to do it. That's what it should be about, shouldn't it? I don't want to regret it.
100%. You're never going to get this opportunity again to go and travel Australia in your caravan for a year. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty unheard of.
Yeah, so if it means that you can't go for an extra, little bit longer, or you have to stop and work on the road for a couple of weeks, do it. Because you don't want to be stinging on stuff that you'll be regretting for the rest of your life if you didn't do.
Yeah, definitely. But it is not what we didn't expect it to be this expensive.
Yep, 100%. So we just want to prepare you guys for that.
It's expensive.
It's speno. Your pockets will be empty.
If you're listening to someone that says you can do it for $300-400 a week,
laugh in their face.
They're lying, or they did it 5 years ago.
Or they did it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
True. And then number 1, which we think is a really beautiful one to finish on, but also really, really important. Talk to people. Ask for help. Ask for top spots that you can go and visit.
There's advice.
Ask for advice. Ask if they know anyone that could fix this. Like, people are so knowledgeable. They are going to be better than any WikiCamps app or any, online advice website or, like whatever it might be.
Yeah, definitely. Just the people that you meet on the road make the trip. And it's always the people that are also doing a lap as well, like we are. They're just amazing.
Yes, the people that we've met and crossed paths with that are also very like-minded with us. They have been unreal, especially if they're going in the other way. We're like, oh my God, tell me
where have you
when.
gone? Yeah, and I think that's the best thing. We give people advice on where to go, where not to go, and they give us advice, and it just makes our trip so much better. These places that we've found are only because of talking to people.
100%.
Like the ones that you try and, of course, there's places on WikiCamps and things like that.
And things
definitely.
that you stumble upon, but they are getting less and less frequent.
Yeah, definitely. Whereas, like, if you want the good secret spots, just talk to people. They'll tell you where, and they'll tell you where not to go.
They will. 100%. But I think on that note, we are done. Let us know, what would be your tip if you were going to go and travel Australia, or you were giving advice to someone that was going to go and travel Australia?
Or just travel in general.
Comment down below and let us know, because we'd love to share all of that stuff, hot tips with everybody else.
Yeah.
So what is your number 1 hot tip? But otherwise, we will see you in next week's video.
Alright guys, ciao for now.
See you! Have the best day!
Bye.
Bye!
Bye.